Good afternoon and good morning if you're out on the West Coast. This is Mark Wolf with Emergency Reporting. We're here for the kickoff virtual Thursday for 2018. Welcome everybody. Before we start, I want to give a shout out to a few folks that I see online here. First, I see Alan Miller's on. Alan, we'll get you changed over to an organizer so you can maybe help us out if you want to step in with that. And I see Chris Altman from down in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee on with us, and Chief, see, you'll find you, Chief. This thing keeps jumping around on me. Chief Ayers, Chief Doug Ayers from up in St. Mary's, Ohio is on with us. I think that's about all the names that I saw on there. Again, this is Mark Wolf. I'm one of the full-time trainers with Emergency Reporting, and online with me today as my wingman is Stewart Smith, who is one of our product owners, and he is responsible for the InspectER app, and he has extensive fire service experience down in the great state of Texas. And then Alan, if I get him switched over here in just a moment. Alan is with us as a part-time trainer, and he's with the Miami Valley Fire District near Dayton, Ohio. So let's go on here. We'll talk about a few things. The first thing I want to mention is the fact that this is our first virtual Thursday again of 2018. We're going to talk about the mastering the InspectER app. Some training opportunities to be aware of is virtual Thursdays. It's free. We always like that word in the fire service. If it's for free, it's for me. They start at 1100 hours Pacific time on the first and third Thursdays. Again, those are free. We record them. Like we're recording this session right now, and we will post that onto our knowledge base here as soon as we get time to do so. We do have the availability of departments arranging for online training. We do that in 3-hour blocks, and we can set up the topics and materials to meet your needs for those trainings. We do perform on-site trainings. Our typical on-site training is typically either a 2- or 3-day on-site. Well, we can customize a package for you. If you would contact Nicole Beard, our training coordinator, she can help you out with that. And then we do have regional and national training academies coming up. I do want to mention a few of them. Right now we have scheduled here in a couple weeks down in Orlando, Florida, January 16th, 17th, 18th. We have a regional training academy. In February, we're going to be out in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's on February 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then in March, we're going to be up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, March 13th, 14th, and 15th. Go to emergencyreporting.com, and there's the links at the top of the page to get to those training opportunities, to learn more about them, and to set those up. So before we jump into the app and talk about stuff, let's talk a little bit about why we want to use InspectER, the app. Basically, the concept would be is if you need to use offline data entry. So for example, if you don't have a device with connectivity, such as you're using a tablet, an iPad or such that doesn't have the ability to connect to the internet, you can use a device that has no connectivity, or in your particular case, if you lose connectivity in the field due to a bad cell phone signal connecting your device with the internet, or when you go into those buildings, the signal is lost that way as well. Offline data entry is a perfect for you and for your use. We do have this up under multiple operating systems, iOS for our Apple device users, Android, and Windows. And I'll be demonstrating today off of the Windows version. I want to mention one item here before we move on, a couple items actually. For the licensing, the app is actually free. The use is licensed. You can go to the appropriate app store for you to download that. And again, that is free. To access the system, you do have to purchase a license. Level 1 licensing is access for all users. It's on the read-only side of things. You can get to the basic building information, the building information itself, and the hazmat information. You cannot get to the inspect inspection information through a level 1 license. Level 2 license gives access for all users, is a read and edit capability for the basic, the building, and the hazmat sections of the app. You still cannot get to the inspection side of that. You can do either level 1 or level 2, but not both on the same license. And our top license level is a level 3. And that is access to everything, the basic, the building, hazmat, and inspections for all licensed users. You can combine the level 3 license with the level 1 or level 2 access. So you can limit your access into the inspection side of it to a handful, maybe one or more of your fire marshal's office folks, your inspectors, and then still allow all users to get into it for the other actions in the app. One other mention that we need to talk about is in the InspectER app with your data. What we want you to do if you're considering use of this is to get your inspection data cleaned up. What we mean by cleaning up your inspection data is go in and take any incomplete and unlocked inspections. Those, if we do have a problem, seem to be the prevalent issue that pops up. We do have a report that is specific for that. It is report 934 that you can run and find all of your incomplete and unlocked inspections and work on closing them up, authorizing them, so to speak, so that you can reduce those kind of issues. By the way, I should have mentioned also, there is a section on your screen where you can post questions, and Stewart is online to answer those. He's a great guy to do that because he knows everything there is to know about the app, as he's the product owner, and can probably lend a good insight to that for us. What we're going to do now is, since we've got to the end of my slides, is close that up. And we're going to go into the account that we're going to use today. And we're going to go to reports, and we're going to run the 934 report. Just to show you what I'm meaning when I talk about that. When I run this report and talk about incomplete and unlocked inspections, you can see in this account, which this is a demo and training account, so it gets a lot of use. A lot of people get their fingers into the pie here. We've got a lot, up to 18 pages in this case, of unlocked and incomplete inspections. And what we would need to do if you're considering this is to really go into your account, run this report, or if you're a current user of InspectER, go in and run this report and try to clean this up the best you can. That will really help minimize issues that we would have with corrupted data and bad data hanging out there everywhere. So just wanted to give you an example of that. It's a fairly simple report to run for. And what we're going to do here for the demonstration today and training, we're going to use this building. This is, again, a demo account. And this happens to be a master occupancy called the Zerline building. And we're going to go to the inspections tab and show you that we did some final testing yesterday. You can see the inspections that we recorded. And down here today, I did schedule a manually scheduled an inspection for today's date. And you can build, obviously, any kind of inspection schedule that you may typically do for your buildings for use in the app as well. So we're going to refer back to this probably in a little bit here once we get into the app and run an inspection. So what I'm going to do here is jump over to the app. And what I want to do is, I know I had this open before, I'm going to actually log out of the app. And then we're going to jump back into it. This is what it looks like from the login page. And I've got somebody posted something in the chat. Oh, okay, for Lieutenant John Longacre down in Orlando, Florida. John, that report is number 934. Report 934. Hopefully that'll help you out a little bit. So I get my username and password in. This would be the same username and password that your users will use to get into their regular account. And when we get in here, you'll see that we come in and the system will sync. So the basic premise of this is you need to be online connected when you first log in here, and the system will sync up all the data between the app and your account. We'll get this syncing info message. It shows me that I have one occupancy that's assigned to me, and we have a total of 1,910 occupancies in this account. So you can see it just took for a few seconds to sync up and bring all that data in. So it's a fairly quick process typically. And you can clear this out by displaying or checking here, don't show this again. We'll leave that alone for right now. So when we're in the app, this is our grid. It's being it's on these portable devices that are smaller, we have very limited area to put a lot of fields on it. So what we do have is we combined a few. Over here on the left, we have the name and address that's in for that company. The name of it displayed in the bolder letters at the top of each row with the address in the consolidated form down below that. We have the next field over is our next inspection date that we can filter that by. So if I want to look and only display inspections that are due for today, click that, and we'll pop up this inspection that I scheduled earlier. Just show you a demo of that. You can use multiple filters if you need to. Let's do overdue inspections, and then maybe filtered out by Michael Bozzoni, and we'll see that he's got a few in here that are overdue. We'll have to get on him about that. Mike's one of our part-time trainers, and I'm sure he's just been in here testing and running the app to see how it works. And we'll close this one up to show you that you can use more than one filter, or you can filter off again by these occupancy zones. And this is all this data is from your live account. So what we're going to do now is I am going to come down and find myself way down here on the list.
Mark, if I can interject, just one clarification here. So when we're looking at a level 3 license here, which is access to everything, and I just want to clarify what synchronizes when you log into the app. Regardless of your licensing levels 1, 2, or 3, it will sync all business information like location, hazardous materials, emergency contact, all the information, the static information about a business. The only inspection information it will synchronize with a level 3 license by default is inspections assigned to you, the person who logged in. Now that doesn't mean you can't bring down other inspection data from other businesses that are not assigned to you, but you have to, back on the main screen, main grids, check those boxes and say, yes, I want the data for Inspector Stewart Smith, even though I'm Mark Wolf. So just to let you know what does synchronize. This is to control the amount of data being synchronized to make synchronization faster. We have some very large account customers with 30,000 businesses and hundreds of thousands of inspection data, so that could overwhelm a device. So that's what synchronizes as far as inspection data is inspection that is assigned to you specifically unless you call for additional data, which is fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Stuart. Let me give everybody a demonstration of that. If I can find them again here. I know Michael's got a bunch of places in here, so if I select him, I'm going to filter this by Mike Bozzoni. Now, if I check the boxes over here on the left side, these are ones that when I do a sync, it will additionally, what Stuart is saying, bring in that data for those selected occupancies. And that's what he's talking about, if you need to bring in data from a different inspector than yourself. Thank you, Stuart, for pointing that out. I'm going to get that filter back down. As you can see, we have a ton of people in this account. This thing grows daily, I think. All right, so here we are. This is the building we're going to focus on today. You can see it's the name of it, the master for the Zerline building, Chestnut Street up in Bellingham, Washington. I suppose that building actually exists up there. We do have a inspection scheduled, and it's due today. That's why it's in the red font displayed here. I'm the inspector assigned to it, and it happens to be in occupancy zone 2-C. So I will click on that information, and we have our 4 tabs basically here. Let's talk about the basic information. When you come in, you'll see that name and location is open. So this is our name, building number, the address of it, the number, street address number, prefix, street, and that. Now, if we need to edit this information, all we have to do is simply come over to the pen icon over here on the right side, click it, and here we have those fields available to us, so we can come in and edit these. So I will put just a note in here, and another note in the map page. When we save this data, you'll see where this information will come up if I scroll down here, and I just updated these 2 fields down here at the bottom, National Grid and map page, just so we know that we're doing that for the training today. So if we need to update contact information is on the basic info page. One of the things that I'll note in the app is that some of the information may be at a little bit different location in these tabs at the top than we're used to seeing. So you may have to adjust for that a little bit. You can see that my name is in here listed as a manager for the building, and we have a guy by the name of Jim Shue, our building maintenance guy. So let's say we need to add information to a person here. We'll put Barb Wire in. She's going to be our building owner. Let's say our business owner. She's the business owner. And the email address we'll put in for her, which is very useful, as you know, if you're a regular user of the inspection tab in our live production site. The emails are useful. That's where we send all of our forms back and forth through. We can put our additional contact information as it applies here, addressing information as it may apply to that individual, and save them. And you can see that we can add them into the system here with their contact information. And we'll get down here to the general info section of the basic info tab. We've got the ID number for the building, the assigned inspector, the station assignment. If I need to edit this information again, I'll select my pen out here, and then we have that information available here to edit. One thing I'll also mention right now, I think it'd be appropriate, is that you cannot add a building to your grid for use in the system through the app. So if you have a new building that's built, you have to do that in your live production site, log into it, go to your occupancy tab and add the occupancy there, and then upload it and sync your app. It will bring the data in at that point in time. You can only edit information in the app. So let's move on over to the building tab. These first 3, the building basic information, the building tab, and the hazmat tab, are the ones that the level 1 and level 2 licensing can have access to. So here's our building information. We've got a number of the fields for property use here. You can see construction and fire load. A lot of this information in this particular section comes from the pre-fire planning tab in your live account. All that information, as you can see here, I can scroll down, and again, we can just select the pen icon here and that button to go in and edit this information if we need to. Utilities and critical locations. So our electrical panel, fire alarm control panel, FDC location, gas shutoff, master key, sprinkler room location, and so forth is in that section. Accessibility and ventilation is right below that. So do we have building access issues, ventilation problems, and maybe exposure information can be noted here. And then at the bottom of the page is our notes section. We can select the pen here, go back in, and you can see this is our pre-fire plan notes section that we can add information to. The next tab over is the hazmat tab, where we can note chemicals in the building. So you see I have already in the building some ethanol. Let's come over and we'll add by selecting the plus sign icon button. And we'll use the Cameo chemicals list. So let's say just for us ease of finding something, we're going to select that we have some gasoline in the building. Let's say these people were really nice to us and is storing it in the basement. Maybe they have 24 containers that are drums, and maybe they're the 55-gallon variety. So we can add this information exactly like we can in the hazmat tab of the live account. And we'll save that information. You can see that it is putting it right on the page right here. And when we do a sync, you'll see that that'll bring that into the record. So that's basically what's there. Pretty straightforward. The basic info, the building info tab, and the hazmat tabs. I'm going to check my notes right quick here. Talked about all that stuff. So what we're going to do then is go ahead and jump into the inspections tab. And you can see I have an inspection scheduled. So I can, if you have one scheduled here, it's best, and the system works the smoothest, is if we select it right from here. But if you don't have one scheduled, is to come over here to the far right again, the button with that plus icon. We can add an inspection here, but I'm going to select my scheduled inspection for today. And you tell it's already an annual inspection, I'll select my form. Now this form list in the inspection type, this comes from the list that you build in the settings section of your occupancy module. Everything is brought forward. I'm going to select the annual inspection form, and then we're going to go ahead and start the next inspection. You can see that we've got some data up here as my last annual inspection was completed on yesterday afternoon, and today is our next annual inspection is scheduled. So we will come in and select to start the inspection, and we go right to that annual form. And again, this is the same exact form that you will use in the online system. With a couple features here I want to describe is that all of these sections have the black bar with the title of it that we can open and close. So in this particular case, in this form, we have exits, exit lighting, fire extinguishers, protection, access and equipment, fire separations, housekeeping, all that information down the page. So if I have a violation in one of these, it's fairly simple for me to select it, go down in here and find the violation, and select my observation value. So I'm going to say I have a violation for this. So we've got some waste material in. The notes that we would put in works the same as your live account. Whatever you might need to type in there. We've got the violation marked here, and you'll notice that we have 3 camera icons here. With the app, you're limited to putting in 3 photographs. Now you can do these directly from your device, and some of the devices may need a little bit of setup difference with them, but all I have to do is select my camera icon. And what this is going to do for right now, it's going to, I'm using a laptop for this, it's going to turn my camera on and snap a picture. And wow, this worked yesterday perfectly. Now it is not. I was taking pictures of myself with reckless abandon here yesterday. I must have a setting thing. And I know earlier today I did clear out all my cookies on this particular laptop, and that's probably why this is not working. So I'll need to go in and reset that. One other thing I want to mention is you do have the ability to do some bulk operations in this. So let's say we're going down through here, we note on this next inspection question. You can see when I selected that checkbox, we have our bulk operations panel opened up down here, and I can select additional ones as they apply within this section. I can select or unselect all of them if I need to. Select my observation value. Let's pass all of these, and we're going to say done. And it did note for those that I marked that it did pass. So we would get into all the different sections as we need to, as it applies to that particular inspection, and note our violations. There's kind of some different trains of thought on that. Some folks like to mark that we have, as you can see, if I select the box up by exits, that we want to make an observation for every value in the form. It's really your choice if you want to do that or not. You can do that with the bulk operation here. And we can say all those pass, and we're done with that. While I did that, I think I did perhaps undo my violation I put in. I'll do it for this one. So when we get done with our inspection form, we can go to results. Select that box here. What we'll do is we'll start working on completing the inspection. So I'm going to select the day, today's date, and for this time by selecting the Now button. You can manually enter that data, selecting from the calendar and putting a time in. Show our inspection results. And again, this is from your list of your inspection results in your account. Since I had some violations here, I'm going to note that this failed. And you'll see automatically by default that my reinspection down here is marked yes now, because in the account, in the settings for this inspection result, it's required to do a follow-up inspection. Let me click on. Okay, so I've got a question from Jason Kaufman in the chat box. Are the violations pre-built into the app, or is that something that each agency has to purchase? I'll say yes and no. Yes, all the violations are pre-built into the app, but they're brought over from your live account, Jason. So if you have in your account the settings section for your occupancy module set up as you desire it to be, all of that information is brought forward into the app. The purchase of that, it comes with your account. You can set that up how you need to for your individual department's needs, but I can advise you from my experience in using the system as a system user here in the city of Greenville, Ohio, and as a trainer, it can take quite a bit of time depending on the extensive nature of how you need to have it set up. So, okay, good deal. So I'm going to put some notes in here after I selected my inspection results of fail. We're going to be really nice to this person here, and we're going to reinspect this tomorrow. You can select a date down here below from our calendar. Just pick the one that's appropriate. So we're going to say January 5. We're going to give them 1 day to fix this. And that inspection type, when we perform that, is going to be selected as a reinspection all the way down here. You'll note that we have the red asterisk visible here. Anytime you see the red asterisk here, that is a required field that we have to put data into it. So we've met that criteria. Here's my inspector's name for me. I can do an electronic signature of the form. And we'll apply that signature. Now, if you've got one of the tablets or whatever, you can write that, or a laptop that's got a touch screen, you can sign it with your finger right on it. The business owner, this is a nice feature, is if we start typing in one of the names of the people in our contact list, which I am in there myself, it will select that here and you can bring them down. So we start have to typing their name in. Here's my list of those. I'm going to select Barb, and then we're going to let her sign the form as well. We'll get her signature on here. Now, what we need to do, since we've got all that filled out, is complete the inspection. Are you sure you want to complete the inspection? Well, most often it is yes. Now, if you don't need to complete it, you do have the ability. Let's talk about this for a minute. We can save this data and close the inspection right now. If for some reason we need to research something, we can't complete it right now, we can save and close it and finish it later. We can go back to the inspection questions as well. When we go to complete the inspection, we'll get our warning here. Are you really sure you want to do this? Well, yes, of course we want to. And then we will move on to the next page here. And here is our inspection. This is all the information that we put into it. You'll note that for our inspection questions, the only ones that will display on this page are ones that we made some type of answer to the inspection question, where we selected one of the observation values. Pass, violations are listed here. Here's my date and time, the results of it, so forth. All that information is right down here. Now, typically what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set this up to email it directly from here. We can either view that PDF report, or we can email the inspection report. We'll do both here. So here's the email or the inspection report. You'll notice that this, when we're looking at it, this is the entire pages of the report, even the ones that do not have the observation values answered on them. With our signatures at the bottom of the page, we'll close that. And typically what we'll do is email the inspection report, and we're sending it to, that's that email address I put in for Barb. We can send it to somebody else if we want to right here with a carbon copy. Here's the inspector's email address. If they have an email address in the account, in their personnel record, it will display here. And then we can select which ones, what information we want to send them on this. If I select all, it's going to have all of these sent. Now, these are the ones that are noted in this particular inspection report. I don't particularly want to send them information to waste paper on the ones that pass. I just want them to know what they have is wrong and what the violations are. And then I can type in a message if I need to, and I will send this email. Now, an important thing to remember is that the system, when you're offline, it will not send that email until you sync it up. So we've got our inspection scheduled for the next date, will be tomorrow for the 5th of January. What I want to do right now is let's see, minimize this. I'm going to go into this live account right here and show you. Here's those records. This is the one we just did, 1/4/2018, our annual inspection, that it failed. And that reinspection is already built here. I can go in here and finish this up if I want to, but it is always best with the app to complete this inside of the app. So we'll let's do this. Let's go out to the main grid, and we'll see that we have that inspection listed here. That's my next inspection date. So if we have, see, tomorrow.
I think you have to, refresh that screen. It holds it in queue, cache. So go back to your main grid or something. And
this one?
Yeah, I think you got to bounce back to your main grid and then come back before it'll refresh. No, go back.
Ah, I got you. So we are at the main grid. I just need to take my filters off.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It hasn't made the loop around from the API yet because that's not part of the automatic sync process.
Okay.
It'll happen when you log in or log out or call for a full synchronization.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do that then. We'll do a full synchronization. And we're going to sync now, and you'll see I have a fairly decent internet speed connection here. So you can see that it doesn't take very long, just a few moments.
I would like to bring up that what we don't do is do full synchronizations while you're in the middle of work. So no synchronizations will happen and stop you from working, that you have to basically call for them. So that's so that doesn't interrupt the user experience.
Right, very good. I know Alan, I think he just posted a question on here. Let me see if I can
yes, Alan, that's
up here.
It will hold the emails until you're connected back and do a synchronization.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, Alan, when you do sync up the system, like I just synced it here. Now, I've turned my email off on this computer here so I don't get bothered during the training today, but I can guarantee you that that email has already hit my inbox. It just takes a few seconds for it to go through that loop. So let's get back into the app here, and we'll go back to my building record and inspections tab. And we're going to go in and do this reinspection. So I'll find the record in here for the building. My reinspection, it's an inspection form, is my annual form. I'll start my inspection. And you can see that I've got all my violations noted here as we had before. This works just like the online version. And what I need to do here is find my violations. And I forgot what section I put them. Here we go, right here. So we had this fire extinguishers needing replaced here. I always made sure that I painted the picture with putting some very thorough notes in, so if there's ever any question, that it was pretty clear. Well, reinsertion, that wasn't what I wanted, was it? There we go. You know, my computer doesn't recognize that word. It's spelled correctly. Okay. So I would date them, put my initials after it so it was entirely clear of who performed this operation. And we'll change that observation value to pass. Oops, in this account, we've got one that is violation corrected during reinspection. That's pretty handy to have. Let's see if, I know we had some other ones in here someplace. Oh, it was under housekeeping, I think. Yeah, here we go. So if we fix this up, put in my notes, so hopefully everybody can read that. And I think that was all we had. So we will go past those results. We'll click now that we got it done. Since I got everything fixed, I will come down and say it's passed. And I can put some notes in here. I can sign my form. I have my business owner rep. Maybe Barb wasn't there today, but Jim Shue was. So we can note that Jim was there. We can have him sign it. But everybody likes my artwork. And let's see, I think somebody else. In the online version, how do you access the inspection schedule that you have set up for occupancy? Okay, Michael. So I would hope, and maybe you can answer this by posting a reply to this. If you're using the app and you reschedule another inspection, that data does not transfer to the online version. You'll see that in the app. And I think that's the question you need answer. Can you post a note on there if that is good for you or not? I'm going to ask Stewart also. That is correct. Correct, Stewart?
Well, the way I understood the question, and again, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're saying how if it will display in the incomplete section all inspection types that are scheduled. Now, it won't, let's say you have the next 10 years of annual inspections scheduled that you see in the app, I mean in the online version, the RS online version. It says, you know, you've got every July 4th, you've got an inspection for the next 10 years. It will not display that in the app. It will only show one line item for each inspection type. So it will only show the next annual inspection that's scheduled in the future in the incomplete section. So it can be in the future. So in that section, we'll show any incomplete or next one scheduled in the incomplete section. So if you back up your, well, I don't make you move the screen, but
let me finish this out. We'll go over that real quick. Okay, so we'll complete this inspection since I got all my signatures in here. Complete it. Yes. And we'll go ahead and email that inspection report out. Send the email, and again, this will not send the email until we sync it. But if, let's say we've conducted a good day, 10 inspections today, we can, all of those will get sent when we do sync it up. So what we're going to do here is we're going to close this. You can see my next scheduled inspection is none because they're all completed here. And my completed inspection list is right down here. This one we just did earlier, and here's that re-inspection. I'm going to sync this. And we'll go in, Stewart, I'll schedule a inspection for this building in the online version, and we'll display it here.
Right. So what we were trying to prevent, and this is back to the original beginning of the webinar about cleaning up your data. We had a lot of people with customers that had like 10 annual inspections past due that they just didn't do, but they were all scheduled, so it was there. So like from 2003, 2004, 2005, they were all showing that needed to be done, and that was very sore on the eyes and things like that. So what we do is if you have like a bunch of inspections scheduled that are all the same inspection type, like annual inspections, it will show you the oldest one that's never been completed. If you clear that up, it'll show you the next oldest one and the next oldest one and the next oldest one. If you're not overdue on any annual inspections, it'll show you the next one that is scheduled by the system. So like if you have inspection types, annual inspection, hood check, plan review, or something like that, it will show you each one of those. It'll either show you the oldest one or the next one due, depending what is there to display.
Okay, so let's do this. We'll do an annual inspection annually, and we'll start it today. And we'll save this. So we've got that displayed down here. What I'm also going to do is schedule a single inspection of a different type. Let's say we've got a burning permit for today. So I manually scheduled that. So here we've got the annual inspection and the burning permit. Schedule here, what I'm going to do is come out to my app, and we're going to sync this. And what Stewart is saying, we should see 2 inspections displayed for this building because there's 2 different inspection types.
Correct.
And there's a question posed, Stewart, that you should be better.
Yeah, yes, I
answering this.
You need to buy licenses, yes. Just
okay.
Get with your account rep.
Okay, I see you typed that in. Very good. Okay, so we've got it synced. And we're going to select the building and go to inspections and select that, and here they are. There's our annual. We schedule those out for 10 years, and our burning permit. So we'll see those types selected right there. So that should hopefully clear up that information. So let's see. I think we've pretty much gone through all my notes. Stewart, is there anything else?
There was another question just posted. Is there a way to find the failed items in an inspection other than scrolling through them like Mark did? The answer is, I thought we did do something on that, and we'll have to get, Mark will have to, we'll look that answer up and get back with you.
Okay, so let's see if I select, since I'm not in an actual inspection right now.
That's just going to email the PDF. That's not residing locally.
Yeah. So I am thinking here, I don't know the answer to that. That is a very good question.
And believe it or not, I don't either, and I'm the product owner on it. I thought we did do something to find those quickly, but I just cannot. Maybe it was something we had to we were planning to get done in the future.
Okay, that's a good answer. I know the live online system, you can find it very easily instead of scrolling through like I did. So we'll get an answer to you. What we'll do is find that information out, and since everybody that's on board today, we have your email address, we will email everybody that answer to that. So let's see if we got anything else in here. Okay, Anthony. Okay, we can hang on with you, Anthony, to talk about that. Absolutely. If you have a question that you'd like to ask us, that really, I'm assuming it doesn't pertain to InspectER, that's fine. We'll try to get that information to you. Okay, perfect.
Oh, okay. Once you complete the inspection, you get to view the PDF or email. Is there an option to print it in the field? Yeah, I mean, it's a regular PDF that you're viewing on your tablet. So depending what you have on your tablet device and a printer available, just like printing anything from your tablet, you can print it there in the field, sure.
Okay, very good. If you have that capability, obviously you have to have some type of printer in your vehicle that can operate off of 12 volts. I know a lot of folks do have that capability. I had that capability in my Chief's car here, but we always had problems with moisture getting through the paper, and it wouldn't run through the printer very well. So Jason says he's got one. Perfect. Awesome. So anybody else have questions? That's really all we have for the presentation. Do we have anybody on? If you could post a question up just to let us know, maybe that is a current user of InspectER and has any other comments that we haven't covered.
While we're letting them type those in, I do want to let you know that there is a error log that is generated. So if something does happen, it does generate an error log file that you then just follow the steps, and it emails us that error log, and we can identify very quickly who you are, what the problem was, and if it's an issue with the app, we can get it addressed immediately, or if it's an issue with your device or some other things. We have found that a lot of city IT departments or municipal IT departments who are using iPads do hidden security setups on those iPads that many people are unaware of that you're not allowed to change. So we have encountered that, but we think we've addressed most of the security settings that are available that are secret to IT departments. The Microsoft and Android tablets appear to have a lot less problems with. The Apple is a good experience. The iOS is a good experience, but Apple does play a lot of games that are good, and that's why their devices are more protected and more certified by Homeland Security and Department of Justice and things like that. But that's usually where we encounter some issues that are more on the user side or the IT setup side that we have to help you work through.
Really perfect. Hey, we got a couple more questions posted up. Let's say we want to address Dwayne first.
Sure.
The advantages to using InspectER rather than using the web browser on Safari. We'll let Stewart jump in on that.
Sure. So, I mean, if you're using Safari and you've got great connectivity to connecting to the ERS app, online application, fantastic. But if you're in the middle of working and you lose that connectivity, then you're subject to losing your work or something like that. Where I'm retired from, we had a lot of microprocessor plants and manufacturers where any type of radio was not allowed inside the main building, even our emergency radios. They were blocked. So inspectors couldn't do that. So if you've got that kind of case, or you're in a location where you don't get great connectivity via cell or Wi-Fi to work over Safari, then the InspectER app is for you. If you've been using Safari in the field with a connection and you don't seem to have problems with our online web app, then you don't need the InspectER. I would definitely go for that. Unless you just feel like using the InspectER is easier on the eyes and much easier to manipulate than the web app. So I hope that answers your question. Is a license required per iPad? that would be used for inspections. Okay, so the way the licensing works, yes, is license levels 1 and 2. When you buy, that's a one-time annual price, and it's every login in your system. Level 3 licenses are for each inspector. So whoever's doing inspections would need a level 3 license, and so therefore it's licensed by specific login, not device, but login. So you might have 5 inspectors and 2 devices, but there's only 2 inspectors out at any given time, then you'd only need, I'm sorry, then you would need 5 logins because it's those people, but they can log into those devices. Now, if your operations division does inspections, in Texas, that's no longer allowed, but we used to do it where engine crews would go out and do inspections. Well, that means I'd have to license like 200 people. We do have special licensing for inspections done by operations groups other than full-time inspectors. So just get with your account rep on that. I understand the demonstration, but more of an outline overview, but an outline overview one more time. So Dwayne, Mark, you might want to email Dwayne the overview PowerPoint or something like that, or get with him one-on-one. I think the biggest benefit is to be able to open and close categories. The app is a lot cleaner and more efficient. Thank you very much, Christopher. And Mark, what's the difference between a follow-up inspection and a reinspection? I'll let you answer that, Mark, but in my mind, it's just, that's what a department called it. We didn't have follow-up inspections. We had reinspections from where I'm from. It's just however you build
it's a local terminology.
Yeah.
In the online version, when you have it set up to require for, let's say you had an inspection that failed, and for that result, you require a reinspection to be scheduled. And once you schedule it here and authorize that inspection, there's a hot link right below the inspection type to do your follow-up inspection. And that's a term we use in the system. You could call it a reinspection, follow-up, or whatever you would like under your inspection type settings in your account. It's just basically, it's a terminology thing is all that is. So let me pop that open one more time. Hopefully that was an answer to you, Edward. And Dwayne has had to leave, it looks like. So I guess that hopefully that answered your question. And I don't think we have anything else. I really appreciate everybody attending today. It's nice to see a big crowd out there. We had 30, almost 40 folks online with us today. That's awesome. Sometimes we have as few as 10 or as many as 90. So 40 is a good number. In closing, any other items that you may have? Let's see, Ray has put a question in here. Okay, so he needs a direct contact.
Wait, what? Start having not saying sync is unresolved. Oh, Ray, if you will just contact support, they will definitely, just regular support number, just contact support and they will work with you on that sync issue. Where do you set the inspection for automatic reinspection? That's to set up in your online account, how you set up automatic reinspections. I can do the cost of the tickets, cost license, and I'll let you. Oh, okay, Ray. Ray, my email is stewart.smith@emergencyreporting.com, stewart.smith@emergencyreporting.com. Email me the ticket number if you have it, or just email me directly, and I will follow up with support and get that escalated. Let me do the cost real quick, Mark, and then I got to jump offline.
Perfect.
Level 1 for your whole department means any login will work. It allows you read-only access to all of the building information, the static information about a building, not inspection information. That is $120 a year for your whole department, period. Level 2, which gives your whole department carte blanche, read-write availability to the static information about a business, is $240 per station per year. So if you have 2 stations, for everybody in the department, it would be $480 per year. Now, the licensing on the app will not override any security settings that you have built into the web app. So if a person in the web app only has read writes only, even though you've purchased level 2 for the whole department, they will only have read writes in the app. They cannot, the app security cannot supersede what you give them in the web security. So, but it's $240 per station per year, level 2, and you do have to purchase for each station. There are special prices for volunteer unmanned stations. They don't count. The level 3 is, now again, level 1 and level 2 are independent. You'd either have one or the other. And level 3 is independent of 1 and 2, because maybe you want your road department to have level 1, and you want some inspectors to have the full meal deal of level 3 per login. So per level 3 license is $480 per license, per person, per login. So you might have 3 inspectors, and so that'd be 480 times 3. And then you might want your whole department to have access for emergency operations of level 1. So just add another 120. Again, get with your account rep, and they can do any idiosyncrasies to things that are volunteer unmanned stations or operation, full-time operational inspectors out of the apparatus rooms and things like that. I've got to jump off and get on another call, but I'll let Mark wrap up with the other questions I didn't get to.
Yeah, there's a couple more questions out there I wanted to address. Thanks a lot, Stewart. We appreciate your helping us out today.
All right, Ray, I'll look for an email from you.
Okay, Chief Ayers, if I understand your question correctly, I'm going to go here. What your question is, let me open that back up again, is where do you set up the inspection for an automatic reinspection? And I think what you're asking here is, where do we set it up to require a reinspection to be scheduled? So if you can post a yes or no on that. But where I'm going to go is into settings, and I'm going to come over here to inspection results. So in Occupancy Module settings, inspection results, click that. And all of these, this is a layered system in here. So any of these inspection results that I have, such as correction notice issued, if I click on that inspection result, I'll get the second page open. I have the ability to set up to allow, which is discretionary, or the bottom one, allow and require. So if that's checked, and I note that the result of the inspection is a correction notice issued, fail, whatever your local terminology is, then in this case, for allow and require reinspection for this type, I have to reschedule a reinspection. The system will not let me complete it without doing that. And that's based on your inspection result list. And you may have more than one inspection result that you'll require or simply allow a reinspection. So I hope I got your question answered. It's in the settings, inspection results. And that is that one. So let me think. I think I saw another one on here. It was from Anthony Monks. Anthony, where can we find the community of inspection forms already created? It sounds like you're not sharing with the local neighbor. And I don't know what state you're in, but the typical account, if you're from a civilian, we'll call it civilian fire department, you can become agency friends with other agencies in your state. And then they can share inspection forms with you, and then you could with them if you had some. We have plenty of opportunities to do that. And Anthony, if you want to send me an email, my email address is mark, M-A-R-K, .wolf, W-O-L-F, at emergencyreporting.com. Send me an email reminding me of a customer list, and please let me know what state you're in, your county, and the surrounding counties from you, and I will get you a customer list so you can talk to those folks and then talk to them about sharing inspection forms. Many of our customers share these things readily and freely out there. So it's a really, really good benefit to have that capability. So hopefully I answered your question, Anthony, and I see another one down here. Okay, perfect, Doug and Chief Ayers and Anthony. See from Jason, we were using Firehouse InspectER for iPad. At the end of the inspection, I could email the inspection report right then for each inspection I completed. We're moving to ER. Well, using the app, you have to sync it to send the PDF inspection report. So the premise would be is that you're offline using the app. And when you get to sync that, when you get online capability, when you sync it, it automatically sends them all at one time. You're using the InspectER app under the premise that you have a connectivity issue in the field. If you don't have a connectivity issue and you can get connected with an iPad, then there's really no need to use the InspectER app. So hopefully I answered your question on that, Jason. I've got one more here. Okay, you say my iPad is LTE. What exactly is LTE? Is that a service provider? Okay, so yes, if you have internet service and you have a good signal out in the field, there's really no reason to use the InspectER app. You can just use your live online account, and then you can send them immediately while you're on site. So hopefully that answered your question, Jason. Okay, so are we able to customize the inspection PDF that is emailed to the business? For example, number of days until reinspection or any other information we like to have on the letter PDF. And there is some flexibility with that as you're building your inspection form. And the inspection forms are built in the settings. Let's get back to settings, inspection forms. And when we're building these forms, there is the capability of doing that. I'll edit this form here. Well, there's really nothing in it. But under Add, Edit, Signature options, you have the ability to put closing notes in, include those, a bunch of information on your for your inspector, and that, and always at the top of the report, you can have the next inspection date can be displayed and will be displayed right on the top of the report. So hopefully that answered your question. Unless there's anything else here, I will be terminating the session today.